Alisa Mikhailovna Kujo, often called Alya, who has a Russian father. As she walks through the academy's entrance, she catches the attention of others. After advancing a bit, she stops when a boy greets her with airs of grandeur, introducing himself as Ando, a second-year student. Alya returns the greeting out of respect, and then Ando mentions that his sister has often spoken about her and he wanted to meet her because of that, suggesting they have lunch together. But as soon as he finishes asking, Alya replies with a no. This surprises Ando, who remarks that she is a cold woman, but then proposes exchanging phone numbers. Alya apologizes, saying she must decline as she has no interest in him whatsoever. This leaves poor Ando in shock, and she takes the opportunity to walk away without saying much more, but not before telling him that the necklace he's wearing goes against the rules. After that, the students start talking about what just happened. They note that she rejected Ando, the most popular guy in the school, as if it was nothing, so they believe she has very high standards. Soon after, Alya arrives at her classroom, 1B, and upon reaching her seat, she greets the other protagonist, her classmate Masachika Kuze. He doesn't respond as he's asleep at his desk, and she kicks his chair to wake him up suddenly, asking if he stayed up late watching anime. Seeing that he did, she tells him he never learns, as he doesn't sleep well to watch anime, and then sleeps in class, not understanding the point of it. Kuz explains that the anime finished airing at 1 o'clock, and he spent 2 hours talking about it with a friend. She thinks he's crazy for doing something like that, to which he explains that if professing his love for a work regardless of time or place is the definition of madness, he will admit to being mad. At that moment, Kuzi starts yawning when he hears something she said, making him blush a little. But when he asks what it was, she only replies that it was nothing, as she just said he is pathetic, clearly doing it to tease him. Then he realizes he forgot his chemistry book, so he moves his desk next to hers to use her book. As the class progresses, Kuz keeps yawning, prompting Alya to poke him with her pencil to make him let out a muffled scream. Because of this, the teacher thinks Kuz wants to answer a question, and having no idea, she shows him the wrong answer to embarrass him. Alya doesn't even bother to hide her intentions, smiling as she sees that teasing him is having an effect. This time she repeats what she said before, but it turns out she is speaking in Russian. Knowing this language, Kuz understands that what she said was, "How adorable you are." Immediately, Kuz gets upset about it, and without stopping her games, Alya now says, "Look at you, you're as red as a baby," leaving Kuzi silent and noticeably blushing. Here we learn a bit about his past, where as a child, he often played with a Russian girl who lived near his grandfather's house. He thinks that's when he learned the language, being able to understand spoken Russian quite well, but he never thought it would lead to such an absurd situation. For this Russian beauty only flirts with him in Russian, and he understands her, and if he admitted that he understands, she would faint from embarrassment, so he prefers not to tell her the truth. As the class ends, Alya sees Kuzi take out his phone, reminding him that except for emergencies or using them as references, cell phones are prohibited on school grounds, to which he responds that he can use it because it's an emergency, as the free pull ends in 10 minutes. This doesn't make her very happy, wanting to know how he can do that near a student council member, referring to her. Seeing that he doesn't listen, she confiscates it suddenly, noticing that in that game, he has won a character named Tsukuyomi. Alya knows it's a reference to the moon goddess in Japanese mythology, but doesn't understand why her hair is gray and not black. Kuz thinks it's a nod to the moon, but the point is that she's very cute. She doesn't seem very happy, but despite that, she returns his phone. And while Kuzi is happy because he got Tsukuyomi, Alya speaks in Russian again, saying, "I also have gray hair, you piece of traitor." Clearly, he gets nervous at what he just heard, but pretends to be clueless, and asks what she said. Alya responds that she called him a game addict, making him turn to her to point out that it was disrespectful. She can't call him an addict when he doesn't spend money, and that's an affront to the whales, the real addicts. After that, Kuz goes to the cafeteria with his friends, and a few minutes later, the girls who are members of the student council arrive. There's Yuki Swu, as well as Alya and her older sister, Maria Mikhailovna Kuju, who they call Masha. Kuzi's friends, Takeshi and Hikaru, comment that those sisters are very beautiful, and Takeshi seems more interested than usual. Though Hikaru thinks Masha has a boyfriend, as she keeps rejecting those who confess to her and tells them she has a boyfriend. Kuz adds that even if she didn't have a boyfriend, Takeshi has no chance. Takeshi complains about that, then talks about the other options, Yuki and Alya. He thinks Yuki is engaged because she's from a wealthy family, while Alya only talks to Kuzi, feeling quite jealous about it. At that moment, Yuki makes eye contact with Kuzi, giving him a mischievous smile, and approaches their table to ask if she can sit with them. Kuzi grants permission, and the others agree, Takeshi being a bit nervous about the situation. Alya also sits with them, and as Yuki eats her ramen, she starts talking about the taste with Kuzi. Seeing them talk like that, Alya asks if they are friends, to which Yuki responds that they've known each other since they were children, as they've gone to the same school since kindergarten. After that, Kuzi asks the two if they are friends, to which Yuki responds that you could say they're in the process, and at the very least, she would like to be friends with Elisa. This leaves Alya a bit embarrassed, who mentions that she doesn't think she'll have much fun being her friend, although she is somewhat convinced by Yuki's kindness. Suddenly, Takeshi gets up to leave along with Hikaru, as they have already finished eating. But before leaving, Takeshi whispers to Kuze that this is too cheerful for him. Now Kuzi is left with Yuki beside him and Alya in front, and at that moment Yuki moves her chair closer to his, asking if he has considered her offer to join the council. He replies that he has already told her 1,000 times that he is not interested. But Yuki thinks he would fit in well with her and Elisa, besides having experience as vice president. Seeing that Alya doesn't know about this, she tells her that when they were in middle school, she was the president and Kuz was the vice president. Though he mentions he only did it because she asked, and that in the elections each candidate needed a partner. Later they go outside and Yuki says goodbye, while Alya tells Kuzi that she's surprised they get along so well, as she didn't think any girl would want to be his friend. This confuses Kuz a bit, leading him to correct her by pointing out that he already has one, making it clear by pointing to her. Alya is a bit surprised by this, but after a few seconds, she acknowledges that they are. Then she says she remembered she has things to do in the student council, so she leaves, and on the way, she can be seen very happy. Now we see a flashback of Kuzi's past, where he played in the park with that girl from his childhood, and here they communicated only in Russian. Kuz wasn't very fluent in the language, but she helped him by correcting him when necessary. The two enjoy watching the sunset together, and as they say goodbye, she approaches to kiss him on the cheek. Here Kuz wakes up on a new day, having dreamed of that vivid memory. He comments that he learned Russian like crazy, because he wanted to talk to her, but forgot her name. Arriving early to the classroom, he starts cleaning as it's his and Alya's turn to take care of the classroom maintenance. When she arrives, Kuz notices she is dirty, and she explains that a truck splashed her on the way. Partly it's her fault for being so close to the road, but she has spare socks, so it's not a problem. After that, she touches on the topic of him being in the student council in middle school with Yuki, asking if he doesn't want to join the student council. He again replies no, and it's then that Alya is about to propose something, but changes her mind and says nothing. Suddenly she starts taking off her socks right there, causing Kuz to quickly look away. When Alya notices this, she can't help but smile widely. Putting one leg over the other, she asks if he could bring her a sock from her locker, as she can't go now that she has taken it off, wanting him to hurry. But when Kuz brings it, Alya asks him to put it on, causing him to get quite alarmed. She explains that it's a reward for bringing the sock, and she thought it would be a good prize for someone like him. Suddenly she says in Russian, "It's also a reward for me," making Kuz once again question why her displays of affection in Russian surprise him, thinking that perhaps her obsession with being perfect has her exhausted and she's using him as a release, believing she mentally exposes herself like an exhibitionist. Seeing him distracted, she asks what's going on, and he just replies that he wanted to know what she said. Alya explained that she called him a coward, then tries to put the sock on by herself, but Kuzi stops her by taking the initiative, grabbing her foot out of nowhere after kneeling down, causing her to get very nervous, exclaiming that she's not ready. While Kuz is trying to put the sock on her, she keeps moving and making strange noises. Once he finishes, his hand accidentally touches her crotch, and out of embarrassment, Alya gives him a good kick. Later, Kuzi begs her to forgive him, which she accepts without much trouble, apologizing for kicking him. But upon hearing him say he was fine, she approaches to check for herself. Kuz quickly moves away nervously, saying that he should be the one thanking her for showing him something precious. After hearing what he just said, she realizes he saw down there, as when she lifted her leg to kick him, her panties were exposed. Since he can't take it back, Kuzi bows and thanks her again for showing him something so wonderful. Without giving him time to finish talking, Alya gives him a good punch, starting to insult him in Russian, being really offended and embarrassed. After that, Alya starts running around the school, and Kuz doesn't hesitate to chase her. After 10 minutes of chasing, he takes advantage of their exhaustion to apologize, though she says she also shares part of the blame. And at that moment, Kuz gets on his knees in front of her, asking her to accept this offering, which is a canned drink. But for how childish it is, Alya thinks it's a pretty bad performance. Kuze knows she loves Oshiruko, as she's always drinking it, and because of that detail, she ends up accepting his offering. Here she lets out a small smile, asking in Russian if he wants a sip. Such a question puts Kuz on alert, thinking that an indirect kiss event has come out of nowhere, and that if he says yes, it might actually happen. Still, he keeps pretending he doesn't know the language, so he asks her what she just said. And that's it. If you liked it, subscribe to support the channel. Comment the word childhood to show that you stayed until the